the comments. You made them. We came.
They're just YouTube comments.
Oh no. They are a means to summon us.
Who are you?
Reporters in the further reaches of experience. Demons to some, angels to others. Oh no, tears please.
Black back, do diamonds on me, go flash this ain't Snapchat, cause I didn't get my baby mama that do intake.
Hello, motherfucker.
What's your favorite kind of ice cream?
Pussy. This pussy's so good.
What's good? This is your boy Tico Tren, and this is going to be the very first official Death Scythe, Tico's Death Scythe. I'm going to touch on a lot of topics, almost in a TFM-esque way. I'm gonna just run through a lot of topics in this series for all intents and purposes. That's pretty much how this series is going to be ran. A lot of people probably going to hate it, but like it is what it is. So let's get into it. Let's just get into it. For all intents and purposes, let's just get into it. The topics I'm going to be approaching today are going to be, as soon as I get this up and running, shit, damn shit. The topics that I'm going to be running over in this series is going to be, all right, what's up, Baron Yam? The topics I'm going to be going over in this series are going to be as follow. There's going to be a lot of them. There's going to be a lot of butthurt people throughout this series. Topics are going to be my political leaning, white knighting for women. This is just men who like white knighting for women. Fuck boys versus Pookie and Ray Ray versus Tyrone. Policies, politics, statistics, black men and their feelings. You pretty much know that one's going to go. Black women asking me to do for their community. I just put black women asking me all the damn time, stupid shit. The Wall, Coyotes, Afro-Caribbeans, Africans, and Afro-Latinos versus African Americans, basically. I didn't put versus African Americans in there, but you pretty much get the gist of where this is going. And I'm not talking about all African Americans, but there's a large section of African Americans that think this way outside of the manosphere, who have these very same train of thought for all intents and purposes. And the reason why I'm going to dive into this because I'm a nigga and I can do any damn thing I want to. That's what we refer to in the Western world as black privilege. Okay, let's get it popping. I'm going to talk about my political leanings first because apparently people don't listen or people don't seem to know what's going on with the Tico. One, I'm a libertarian. Two, I call things right up the middle, no matter what it is. Let it be in life. Let it be from my I call things from my personal point of view. Period. So I look at things as a whole, whereas people look at things in a very small instance. I look at things at the bigger picture. It's all about how everybody else is looking at it from the outside in. That's typically how I look at things when I approach things. So this is what I've noticed with a lot of people. So if I tell two people that they're both wrong, you're both wrong. I don't give a damn what you got to say. You're both wrong. The problem with that is within that thing, if I usually tell which one's going to run their mouth like a little bitch and which one's actually going to be like, yeah, well, Tico got me on that one. I was going a bit overboard. Something I've noticed between the two is typically how it happens is when I say both people are wrong, the motherfucker who opens their mouth first to try to make excuses about their stupid shit is the one that's going to get jumped on by me. End of story. Because if you know anything about me, I don't want to hear no fucking excuses. All I want to hear is I got this. That's my favorite line. That's always been my line. Fuck your excuses. All I want to hear is I got this. That's all I want to hear. I don't want to hear, well, this, that, and the other, and if Tico was this, or this, that, and the other, Tico. No, nigga, shut the fuck up. All I want to hear is, I understand what you're saying. I got that. Not, oh, no, don't be making excuses for your bullshit ass attitude. Don't be making excuses for your bullshit ass intro. Don't be making bullshit. Don't making bullshit ass excuses for anything you do. Just do. End the fucking story. I don't want to hear nothing like, some sob story. No. Get out of my face with the fucking sob story bullshit. I'm getting tired of, quite frankly, I'm tired of the fucking sob stories. Man the fuck up and get out of your fucking feelings and go on about your merry way. It's that fucking simple. I don't give a fuck what you got going on. I don't give a fuck if your mom is dying. I don't give a fuck if your mama got cancer. I don't give a fuck if you got hit by a car. I don't give a fuck if somebody shot you in your fucking face. I don't give a fuck if you're in traction. All I want to hear is I got this. That's all I want to fucking hear is I got this. Fuck all the rest of the excuses. Better yourself and get yourself out of the situation that you're in the first damn place. I don't want to hear no extra shit. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. I don't give a fuck how animated you are. Get out of your fucking animated feelings and get with the fucking program so you can actually better your fucking life in the first damn place so people won't view you in a certain light. That's exactly how I feel. I don't give a fuck if you're black, white, Chinese, Puerto Rican, Asian, or any fucking thing else under the sun, or Arab. You're all niggas in my eyes. I don't give a fuck. You're all niggas in my eyes. Moving right along. Me being a libertarian, I call things down the middle. I call things in a Sun Tzu-esque 50 laws of power type of way. So if you're fucking up, I'm gonna call you out on your fuck up. I don't give a fuck what the person said. I don't give a fuck what the person said. You're both wrong. You're both wrong. End the fucking story. I call things basically based on statistics and strategy for all intents and purposes. So if you can't quite follow strategy and you fall into the fucking trap, I am going to call you out on it. It's that simple. It doesn't matter who you are. I don't give a damn if you're my mom. I don't give a damn if you're Jesus. I don't give a damn if you're the Pope, the bishop, the priest, the rabbi. I don't give a fuck if you're fucking my grandmother, my daughters, my son, anybody. I'm gonna call you out on that shit, whether you like it or not, if you're fucking wrong. Because I know you fucked up and I know you fucked up. It's that simple. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you are. I'm going to call you out on your shit. If you fucked up, you fucked up. End the story. If you fucked up due to the fact that you fell into a fucking trap, I'm gonna try my best to help you out of that fucking trap. If you can't accept that shit and you want to cry in your fucking feelings and claim it's something else, then that's all on you. That's pretty much how that works. I don't miss words, nor do I change my stance, nor do I ever change my reasoning, nor do I ever change for any fucking body. I'm always going to be the steadfast motherfucker, the most steadfast motherfucker in the whole entire conversation. It don't matter where you try to twist my words at. I'm always going to be the most steadfast motherfucker in the whole fucking conversation at the end of the fucking day. That's pretty much how it fucking works. If you don't fucking like it, you can fuck off. If you really don't fucking like it, come see me, nigga. Come see me. It's that simple. And when I say nigga, like I said, black, white, Chinese, Puerto Rican, Asian, Korean, Arab, fucking Jesus, God, I don't give a fuck. Come see me. When it comes down to it, just come see a nigga. Like I said, I don't really care. I don't care what your excuse is. I don't want to hear no fucking excuses. I hate crybaby ass niggas. And that goes for anybody from any race. So when I say niggas, that means any fucking baddie. I hate crybaby ass motherfuckers. It's that fucking simple. So moving right along on the next topic to off of my political leanings, me being a libertarian, I pretty much call shit up the middle, and I basically use the stances of Sun Tzu Art of War and 48 Laws of Power when I actually make my decision on calling people out. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Trust me, you're wrong. I'm not taking no sides. And the sad part about that, if I say something to you, that's because I know you're wrong, and I'm trying to help your dumb ass out. If I don't say anything to you, I'd rather watch you die and drown for all intents and purposes. If you were on fire, I wouldn't even pee on you. Let's just put it that way. I'd probably accelerate the shit and probably pour more gasoline on your dumb ass. White knighting for women. This is something I've been seeing a lot lately within the manosphere and outside of the manosphere. I'm not going to say no motherfucking names in the manosphere because I don't want to put motherfuckers on blast right now. You know exactly who you are. Moving right along. this thing about white knighting for women. I've been noticing this in and outside of the manosphere. The problem that I'm having with it is you're a part of the problem. You're a part of the problem. You're a part of the problem on why we're in this fucking mess in the first fucking place. And the more you keep on, capitulating to women, the more of a problem this shit is going to be at the end of the day. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. Suck it up. You're a part of the fucking problem, and you're making it so that it's hard to correct the problem, even though we're not going to ever correct this damn problem. And it's always going to be like this for all intents and purposes. So now, what you're going to do, what you're doing is actually fucking yourself over for what's up, Cypher? What's up, Corey Steele? What's up, Baron Am? So what you're actually doing is actually making the situation worse, despite the fact that we're not going to be able to correct this situation unless we do a full stop on this shit and start sorting motherfuckers out, both white knights and fucking women. We got to start sorting motherfuckers out and checking motherfuckers basically if we want this shit to even be proper for all intents and purposes. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, what you can't do is sit up here and be trying to white knight for women's bad behavior and then be trying to justify their bad behavior all because you're trying to get in their panties. It's never going to happen. We've pretty much proven that over and over and over again. It's never going to happen. This is the problem that I've been seeing with a lot of men that will sit here. Yeah, it's live, Corey Still. This is the thing that I've been seeing with a lot of men in the manosphere and outside of the manosphere. Like a good example of that is cheating. If a woman cheats, everybody will justify her cheating. It's the man's fault, this, that, and the other. Even men would come to our rescue and blame the man for her cheating and infidelity. It is what it is. It's straight truth. It is what it is. If a man cheats, everybody comes down on the man. It's his fault. Not the fact that, his wife probably wasn't giving him any sex. Because at the end of the day, women will say this stupid shit on social media. Sex isn't the most important thing in a relationship. Okay, that's nice. So why did you step outside your relationship to have sex again? If it's not the most important thing in a relationship. And when you go look at the excuses for why women step out on their relationships, no matter if they're in a good relationship or a bad relationship, it always remains the same. I wasn't fulfilled. I didn't feel special. I wanted to feel like we did when we first met. I wasn't sexually fulfilled. He wasn't challenging me sexually, or, sex wasn't enough, or sex was garbage, shit like that for all intents and purposes. It always comes back to satisfaction in sex when it comes to women. And the sad part about that, if a man steps outside of a relationship, he actually does a lot of stopgaps before he actually steps outside a relationship, where a woman just goes, okay, this sounds nice and this feels nice over here. Because typically women go on feelings. If she feels nice at that moment and she's feeling right, just know she's going to be feeling right going home with that person. That's typically how this shit works. When it comes to men have a lot of stopgaps before they actually get to that point. Let it be porn, let it be strip clubs, let it be fleshlights or some type of shit to basically keep them in check for all intents and purposes, so they won't look like the bad guy for cheating on their significant other. The sad part about that is if that goes on for a long period of time, if a woman gives a man attention, just know he's going to fold under pressure to that attention. The only thing different is it takes longer for a man to fold under pressure to attention than it does for a woman to fold under pressure to a man giving her attention. It is what it is. All you got to do is make her feel a certain way, and it's pretty much a wrap. A man looks at it skeptically for a minute there. He looks around all suspiciously to see what's going on, if you ever noticed, and then he tries to scan the room for bullshit, and then he'll probably participate in the shit. But 9 times out of 10, the cheating's not going to happen that night. It's probably going to happen either a week, a month, anywhere between a week, a month, or week to a month later for all intents and purposes. I would say about anywhere between 4 to 5 days to a month later, that cheating is going to happen with a man. Whereas with a woman, she goes out, she feels good with her friends, And next thing you know, she's going home with some perfect stranger who she can't remember her name. All she knows is she made him feel good. He made her feel good about herself for all intents and purposes. It is what it is. It happens all the time. As long as you understand that, I want the white knights to stop white knighting for women. She fucks up. And it doesn't matter what type of relationship a woman's in. She could be with the most attractive man in the world. She could cheat on somebody with more money, or somebody that makes her feel more special, or somebody that makes her feel a certain way. That's typically how women work. It doesn't really, the whole entire looks thing is important up until that person with looks is being cheated on, because it happens so often. Men with looks always get cheated on quite often. It is what it is. So at the end of the day, when you run into these problems, you find out very quickly that, like my favorite one was the one very dominant soccer player who was dating this one woman who she was cheating on him with some pudgy fat guy, which is sad. She's cheating on his chisel chin nigga who's one of the most dominant players in soccer with some pudgy fat guy who does programming. Like, let that just sink in. So at the end of the day, this shit actually happens more often than not, especially with a lot of super sports stars and shit like that. It's like they go, well, he was an alpha. No, he wasn't an alpha. Because the person she cheated on wasn't an alpha. That person was a beta cuck, basically. A beta, just as much as the husband was a fucking beta. Or, anytime a woman steps out on a man, it's like he looks good, everything's great, but she's still stepping out on him. The problem that a lot of people have, and probably that a lot of people can't admit, is the fact that no matter how happy a woman is in a relationship, she's always going to want to itch or scratch outside of the relationship. It is what it is. Like, and it's simply one of those things. How it looks. Like I said, my grandmother said it best. When you first meet a person, you fall in love with that person. As your relationship progresses on, you wake up every day and choose to stay in love with that person or choose to love that person every day. So everything where they say cheating is an accident is bullshit, according to my grandmother, for the fact that if you're going to cheat, you made the conscientious decision to actually cheat. It wasn't one of those things that was spared a moment. You literally made the decision to cheat. If you didn't wake up that morning thinking that you're going to love your husband that day, you've already made the decision to actually cheat on your husband, according to my grandmother. So at the end of the day, if you don't wake up every day choosing to love your significant other, you cheating isn't a mistake. It isn't an accident. It was a conscientious decision at the end of the day, according to my grandmother. Because my grandmother pretty much will tell you in a heartbeat, yeah, no, bitch, you cheated. End of story. It was your decision. It was no accident. It was your decision. Because the sad part about that, when a woman tells her story about cheating, the first several lines that come out of her mouth is, I'm in a good relationship. He's a good man. He takes care of me financially. He looks good. He keeps up with his physical appearance. He's good in the bedroom. But I'm missing something. She's missing that brand newness. This is the problem that a lot of men have in relationships. A woman always misses her brand newness. The brand newness of a relationship. That first date feelings. Those first date butterflies. Those first date jitters. This is typically why women will more likely to step out on men this is more likely why women will step out on men than men will step out on women, for this very reason. The problem is, though, people would argue that, well, men cheat more than women. No, there's a difference between being not cheating and not getting caught. Not getting caught doesn't mean you didn't cheat. Just because nobody knows about it, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You cheated. End of fucking story. There's no other way around it. Suck it up and live with it. Moving right along. The sad part about that is what I've noticed about a lot of these people who do this shit is, if a man is in if a man is fulfilled in his relationship and he's happy, he's less likely to cheat. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he's less likely to cheat if he's fully fulfilled in his relationship. The minute when he's not fulfilled in his relationship, there's going to be a lot of stop gaps before he steps out on his relationship. Whereas with a woman, I'm not fulfilled. Oh, this guy looks handsome. End of fucking story. Or, I'm not fulfilled. Oh, he makes me feel special, like my husband did on our first date. Therefore, End of story. So at the end of the day, it always comes down to one of those things where you have to deal with a lot of shit that you won't seem to understand or get. And it always works out this way. Women are more likely to step outside a relationship if they're in a successful, fulfilled relationship than a man is. If a man's not in a if a man's not fully fulfilled in his relationship, he's likely to step out on his relationship. Either way, women are more likely to step out in a relationship if they're fulfilled or not fulfilled. At the end of the day, that's pretty much how it works. It doesn't really matter how you do it. It doesn't matter how you cut it. It doesn't matter how any of these things go. She's going to step out, fulfilled or not fulfilled. Whereas a man's is not going to step out if he is fulfilled in his relationship. He's more likely to step out if he's not being fully fulfilled in his relationship. That's pretty much how this shit works. Moving right along to the next statement. So basically, end result, stop whiting knighting for women who cheat on their husbands. Just because she cheated on her husband and she doesn't feel fulfilled, that don't mean you should white knight for her. You should probably do a little more investigation and actually investigate what her cheating on her husband instead of trying to white knight and trying to get in her panties, basically, because you're not going to be that person. All right, moving on to the next topic. Fuck boys versus Pookie and Ray Ray versus Tyrone. Now this goes across every single race because there's fuckboys in every race, and there's a version of Pookie and Ray Rays in every race, just like there's a version of Tyrone in every race. Tyrone would be the black equivalent to Chad. Pookie and Ray Ray would be the gangsters. Fuckboys are basically fuckboys. They're not Pookie and Ray Ray, they're just fucking fuckboys. That's all it really is. That's all it would ever be. They're fuckboys. Something I notice about fuckboys is fuckboys actually have low T. They have very low T. Pookie and Ray Ray probably have the highest T out of everybody. So at the end of the day, Pookie and Ray Ray has the highest T. So that's pretty much how this works. Pookie and Ray Ray has the highest T, even higher than Tyrone. Tyrone basically is just Tyrone. He looks good. He fits all the requirements. He's pretty much valedictorian, jock of the year, best football player, basketball player, soccer player, hockey player, wherever the fuck he wants to be. He's pretty much Tyrone. He's all-American, good-looking black dude, or wherever he is in another race, basically. Tyrone. He's the one with the genetics. He's the one that's the superstar quarterback or running back or wide receiver or D-back, basically. Or running back for all intents and purposes, or cornerback, whoever he is, basically, he's pretty much that nigga. And that's pretty much how it works. And the sad part about that is even Tyrone has lower testosterone than Pookie and Ray Ray. Fortunately for Tyrone, fuckboys actually have a lower testosterone than him. I mean, it's not that far off from him. It's very close to him, but pretty much they have a little bit lower testosterone than Tyrone. Pookie and Ray Ray have higher testosterone than all of them put together. That being said, there's a fundamental difference between Pookie and Ray Ray fuckboys and Tyrone. People always say, well, Pookie and Ray Ray is the gangster versions of Tyrone. No, Pookie and Ray Ray aren't the gangster version of Tyrone. Pookie and Ray Ray are those gutter ass niggas, not the fuck. Because there's a difference between Pookie and Ray Ray and fuckboys. What everybody's trying to say is fuckboys or Pookie and Tyrone. I mean, Pookie and Ray Ray for all intents and purposes, when in fact, fuckboys are just fuckboys. That's all they are. That's all they will ever be. And there's fuckboys across every race. There's white fuckboys. There's Latin fuckboys. There's Arab fuckboys. There's Asian fuckboys. There's Indian fuckboys. There's fuckboys across every race. It's that simple. So at the end of the day, when you get caught up in this whole entire thing, you find out very quickly that Pookie and Ray Ray have more testosterone because Pookie and Ray Ray are more prone to violence. They're less likely to get in their feelings and more likely to be violent. They basically call things based on their money. They don't give a fuck about feelings. It's all about their fucking money. Whereas fuckboys, they try to act like gangsters. Fuckboys, they try to act like gangsters when they're really not gangsters. Or they try to act like drug dealers when they're really not drug dealers. They're basically those pseudo drug dealers that drive around in nice cars and always wonder why they're getting popped by the police, while Pookie and Ray Ray are still making bank basically on a regular basis. Pookie and Ray Ray are more likely to have that lawyer on retainer, whereas the fuckboys want to use all that money to flash and walk around and try to stunt all the fucking time. That's pretty much the difference between fuckboys and Pookie and Ray Ray. Pookie and Ray Ray got lawyers on retainer, so they never see a day in jail. Whereas the fuckboys go to jail quite often. They fucked up the game. Hence the reason. Hence fuckboys. They fucked everything up. They fucked up dating. They fucked up the game. They fucked up life. They fucked up the neighborhood. They fucked up everything. They're pretty much all fuckboys. They fuck up everything. It's typically how it works. Whereas the difference between Pookie and Ray Ray and the fuckboys is, if Pookie and Ray Ray are selling drugs, they don't drive around in their nice car. They have their work car. It's usually some jalopy or some beater, basically. And it's basically one of those things where they drive around in it with the work. So if they get pulled over by the police, their good car don't get impounded by the police with the drugs in it, like the fuckboys. That's pretty much how it works. So Pookie and Ray Ray are much smarter than fuckboys. Pookie and Ray Ray are also much smarter than Tyrone too, because Pookie and Ray Ray both have street smarts, and sometimes in most cases they have book smarts too. So they basically marry both the worlds. And typically, with a lot of Pookies and Ray Rays, is they typically go across. They're more likely to impregnate a wide population of people than Tyrone is, or the fuckboy is. Pookie and Ray Ray are more likely to father more children than Tyrone and the fuckboys put together. It's just simple. Because at the end of the day, despite the fact that Tyrone looks good and he gets all the genetics, Pookie and Ray Ray bring that danger. Pookie and Ray Ray may not be the most attractive men in the neighborhood, but Pookie and Ray Ray bring that danger, or that fucking thing, that drama to your life that you actually need in your life for all intents and purposes. It's typically why women always are drawn towards, reality TV, or what they refer to as reality TV, despite the fact that it's fake TV for all intents and purposes. So it's one of those things where you have to basically be able to understand what the fuck you're getting yourself into if you're a fuckboy or Pookie and Ray Ray or Tyrone. Basically, the sad part about that is Tyrone's more likely to be cheated on with Pookie and Ray Ray. At the end of the day, fuckboys come a close second to, no, they're not close second. Fuckboys come second, then Tyrone would come third. Basically, if you're going to cheat on somebody with somebody, you're more likely to do it with fucking Pookie and Ray Ray, then the fuckboys, then Tyrone, for all intents and purposes. So that's the pecking order for women cheating on men. In the white neighborhood, it would be known as Guido and Tony, fuckboys, Chad. It's that simple. Guido and Tony, fuckboys, Chad. That's pretty much the hierarchy if you're going to cheat on somebody with somebody else. No matter if you like it or not, because women like drama, women like the danger. Because the sad part about it, at the end of the day, no matter how much you try to make Chad and Tyrone seem so cool, Chad and Tyrone are fucking lames. Let's just keep it 100. They just look good. They just do their fucking job, and they have a chiseled chin, and they call it a fucking day. Pookie and Ray Ray, Guido and Tony bring all the fucking drama and all the fucking great looks. I mean, all the fucking drama and all the fucking money. Drama and money get you attention. Drama and money makes more girls' panties wet at the end of the fucking day. Drama and money, because at the end of the day, a woman's more likely to get wet over a gunfight or them being shot at by a rival gang member than Chad showing up with his chiseled chin, or Tyrone showing up with his chiseled chin. Case in point, I'm not the most good-looking man in the whole entire world. I've actually told a story about a woman who I took on a date, was not interested the whole entire time in the date, thought I was just some lame Tyrone, this, that, and the other. We're on our way home. I get carjacked. This motherfucker try to put a gun in my face and try to carjack me. This bitch over in the side seat complaining like a little bitch. Okay, cool. So I go, well, I'm gonna need you to move so I can open my fucking door, because you're in the way and I don't want no misunderstandings. So as I'm opening my door, I noticed that his gun was pointing towards my windshield. So what I took and did was I hit him with the door. I stabbed his hand into my door panel, and I zip tied his hands. And then I took and stabbed his other hand into the door basically with another crom bit, and waited for the cops to come as he was zip tied around. His hands were zip tied around my fucking car, because what he had did was try to take his other hand and try to pull the knife out of his hand. So I merely just zip tied his hands together and waited for the cops to show up basically. So he's zip tied with his hand stuck in my fucking side panels, knife running all the way through in my side panels. Cops come, I tell my story, I get me a new rental car. My car goes off with the cops. So I get my rental car from Enterprise in the middle of the fucking night. They send me a new car. I get in my new car. I continue to take this bitch home. This bitch is all hugged up on me now. And all of a sudden, I'm the most interesting man in the whole entire fucking world. Why? Because I just stabbed a man in the hand who tried to carjack me, and I zip tied him, and I was the most cool and calm and collective as this bitch was tripping out in the side seat, basically. Now this woman is all hugged up on my arm, kissing up on me, whereas before at the restaurant, I was the lame at the restaurant. Now that I stabbed the man in the fucking hand several times, now all of a sudden I'm the sexiest man alive. Like, let that shit sink in. So that's pretty much how I know that, gunplay and violence makes women wet. I know that for sure. This is typically how I get a lot of the women that I date. Violence. Let's just keep it 100. Well, yeah, that's pretty much how I get a lot of the women that I date. Violence. They witness me do some violence. Now all of a sudden I'm the most attractive man in the world to them. Now their panties are wet and they're literally throwing their panties at me like fucking Teddy Pendergrass now. That's pretty much how it works. I've never had a woman not be turned on by an act of violence or an act of brute strength, basically, when I've actually was betrayed doing it. Never, not once. I've seen women with Chad and Tyrones literally look at me all sexy or flirt with me or give me the choosy signals because I done did some shit that their man can't do violently and or through brute strength. It is what it is. So at the end of the day, that's pretty much what Pookie and Ray Ray bring to the table. They're not Chads and they're not the bad boy Chads and Tyrones. They're basically just the bad boys, period. That's all they are. That's all they will ever be. They're not the most attractive men in the world. That's all they are, and that's all they will ever be. The fuck boys are more attractive than Pookie and Ray Ray. They're on par. They're almost on par with Tyrone. Only thing difference between Tyrone and the fuck boys is the fuck boys have less testosterone than Tyrone. Tyrone has less testosterone than Pookie and Ray Ray. The fundamental difference between fuck boys and Pookie and Ray Ray is fuck boys are always in their fucking feelings. Pookie and Ray Ray's about their fucking money. If you fuck up their money, you get fucking shot. You fuck with their family, you get fucking shot. End of fucking story. Fuck boys, you fuck with their emotions, now they want to fuck you up. You step on their Jordans, now they want to fuck you up. You bump into them at the club, now they want to fuck you up. You mess up their white tee, now they want to fuck you up. Fuck boys. Y'all get the difference between Pookie, Ray Ray, and fuck boys basically now? And that's pretty much how it works at the end of the day. So when it comes down to it, a lot of people actually run into these people and they think they're running into like, these good looking people. Because at the end of the day, Tyrone and Chad are not bad boys. Tyrone and Chad just look good. That's all they do. They just look good. They pretty much hit the genetic lottery. But at the end of the day, they'll be out alpha by Pookie and Ray Ray. At the end of the day, they'll always be out alpha by Pookie and Ray Ray. I mean, the fuck boys try to come in as beta as they are. They try to come in and try to betray themselves as alpha or fake alphas, but we all know that they're not alphas at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, even Pookie and Ray Ray aren't alphas. Pookie and Ray Ray are fucking sigmas. They basically work outside the law. And they'll work with the law if they can, but most of the times they work outside the law. Let's just keep it 100. That doesn't make them alpha, that makes them sigma. On the other hand, Tyrone and Chad are actually alphas, or what the world portrays as alphas these days. They're pretty much that. Sigmas trump alphas, no matter how you look at it. Sigmas trump alphas for the fact that Sigmas are willing to go play both sides of the law and walk on both sides of the fence, or walk right down the middle for all intents and purposes. Where usually Chad and Tyrone pretty much stays on one side of the fence, the good side of the fence. The fuck boys basically pretend like they're walking down the center, but they're more so close to the center, but they're not walking down the center. They're not walking that fine line between I'm a bad boy and I'm a good boy. They're basically walking that I'm a good boy and I'll make myself look as edgy as humanly possible by making it look like I'm pushing the envelope when I'm really not. That's pretty much fuckboys in a nutshell. They push the envelope, but they never push it far enough to actually be Pookie and Ray Ray. They will never be on the level of Pookie and Ray Ray. Pookie and Ray Ray don't give a fuck about feelings. All they care about is their fucking money and their fucking family. Matter of fact, Pookie and Ray Ray can actually also offset the fact that something happened to their family for over business. I mean, they can offset something. They can actually see business over family if somebody fucks up. Because at the end of the day, they know that if they get emotional, their money gets fucked up. That's pretty much how that shit works. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's pretty much how that works. Moving on to the next topic. Policies. And I'm going to talk about that too now, I guess. The problem with policies that are passed in the United States, people always talk about that they know the policies. The sad part about that is people only read the surface policies. They don't know what the fuck is going on in between the pages, between the last page and the fucking first 2 pages at the end of the day. Matter of fact, I'm willing to go as far as to say, I'm actually being nice by saying the first 2 pages, actually the cover and the first page, I should say. That's pretty much how it is. The preface is the preface of the book, basically. That lets you know what's in the book, basically. Will let you know what's somewhat in the book. It gives you a rough estimate what's in the book. And you got your cover. Cover being the title that they pick to put on policies and bills. The sad part about that is everybody gets caught up with the title and the positives that's going to in it. They don't pay attention to the underlying problems that's actually in it. Here's how it works. They write a bill in the United States. When they write that bill in the United States, there's more than just that bill. There's more than just that. There's more than just that in that policy. Because you can't tell me you need 500 fucking pages for one fucking thing. There are more things in that bill and that policy that get overlooked or skipped over that people don't pay attention to. Like a good example of the last bill that was passed that everybody overlooked, didn't even look into, didn't even fucking investigate, was the whole entire that stimulus check that they gave everybody during COVID virus, basically. Now everybody thought, oh, I'm getting money. Yay. And we're going to get more money on our unemployment. Yay. That's all people were thinking. Nobody thought about the rest of the shit that was actually in that bill. Because if that was the case, you shouldn't really need that many pages for bailing out renters, bailing out rentees and renters, bailing out employers and employees, unemployment, stuff like that for all intents and purposes, and also a stimulus check, basically. You don't need 500 pages for those things. Or 400 pages for those 500 pages for those things. The sad part about that is there's more in that bill than just those things. There's other things like FEMA camp relief, Department of Defense beefing up just in case motherfuckers get out of line, moving of artillery pieces within the United States borders just in case shit go down, just in case they got to round some niggas up, which a lot of people always miss. How to treat the inner city was actually in that bill too. How to treat people based on race was in that thing. Just in case shit happens in various states and countries and shit like that. And other things along the lines were that in that bill. So, UN military also. They beefed up the UN military presence within the United States. So when all hell breaks loose, it's not going to be your military doing it. It's going to be the UN military handling it. So everybody thinks, oh, well, the U.S. military would never shoot at us. Well, that's why they got UN military in the United States on the United States soil. So because they pretty much worked that out for all intents and purposes, knowing that, oh yeah, our troops are probably going to side with the people. Therefore, we need people who don't belong to us from another country, from our allied countries, to come squash our problems, basically, because we all know how this is going to pan out. 40 chess, my nigga, 40 chess. Government plays it. You're never going to outsmart them. You just got to be able to just get out of Dodge, basically, and get out the fucking way. That's your best bet. You're never going to outsmart them. You just got to get the fuck out the way as fast as humanly possible. That's the only thing you can do when it comes to the U.S. government. Other policies that I've noticed with the U.S. government that black people have been latching on to lately, the stupid black people that is the whole entire Trump bad and he's racist. Okay, we'll run with that. We'll run with that notion for a minute. We'll just say Trump's bad and he's racist, but black unemployment is down though. It's lower than white unemployment. Let that sink in. Trump's so racist that Latin unemployment and black unemployment is lower than white unemployment. Let that soak that in for a little bit. Let that swirl around in your head for a little bit. Let that go in and soak in and come back. The only reason why they want to call him racist is because, and the sad part about that, what I noticed is they don't really call him racist anymore because they know that pretty much is passe or not really all that true. So they'll go to the border. Well, he's racist because the border. And this pretty much goes into my Coyote thing. So I'm pretty much going to tackle my Coyote thing along with this policy thing in politics. I'm going to wrap this all up into one. The problem with the border isn't really as much the drug cartels. The problem with the border is more so coyotes. And before anybody say this, oh yeah, it's an animal, Tico. Yeah, that's what it is. It's just an animal. No, it's not fucking animals. It's people who traffic children for various reasons. This is why people get pulled over and stopped at the fucking border. It's not they're not their fucking parents bringing them across the fucking border. They're going to be turned in for, sex trafficking and pretty much brides, marital or brides, sex trafficking, and all this other great shit for all intents and purposes that everybody seemed to sweep under the rug and want to overlook with Trump basically by saying he's building a wall to keep the Mexicans out. My problem with the whole entire wall thing is he's not building it to keep the Mexicans out. He's building it so he can make it harder for the coyotes to sneak children across the fucking border and use them for slave trade, sex trade, and or any other type of unsavory shit that goes on. Because if you know anything about me, I'm against any form of slavery or against anything and everything dealing with that's negative, the negative that you can do to children. So let it be rape, let it be slavery, let it be sex trade, let it be all this shit under the fucking sun, pedophilia. I'm against all that shit that you could possibly do to a poor child at the end of the day. Yes. That being said, if you stop the coyotes from coming across the border, that's what you're going to do. The coyotes don't use the tunnels. The cartel uses the tunnels. Big fucking difference. And most of the people who sneak across the border, when they sneak across the border, they sneak across the border. They don't come in through an entry point. They sneak across the fucking border. Let's just keep it 100. Let's stop pretending that they don't sneak across the fucking border. Because the sad part about that, they'll say Mexicans are sneaking across the border, but what they don't tell you is Chinese or people from Asian countries, people from the Caribbean. You got Africans, you got white people from Europe sneaking across the border also as well. And the sad part about that is we sweep all that under the rug and we'll just say Mexicans. Pretty much how it works. And that's the cold hard truth. And the sad part about that, people always say, well, we allow illegal immigration. No, we only allow illegal immigration. We only allow immigration to Cubans. Because what you'll see at the border, you'll see if a Cuban makes it, they're free. That's pretty much our motto when it comes to Cuba. If a Cuban makes it to our shores or to our land or gets to touch their feet or hand on U.S. soil, they're free. That's pretty much how this works. And there's a couple other countries in the Middle East and a couple other countries, but mainly more countries in the Middle East than anything else. But Cuba is the country that we have this thing with. It is what it is. And yes, Puerto Rico is actually a U.S. territory, so Puerto Ricans are actually U.S. citizens. Let it go. Let it the fuck go. They're U.S. fucking citizens. Let it the fuck go. They're not illegals. They're U.S. citizens. Just because they speak Spanish, that don't mean they can't speak English too. A lot of Puerto Ricans can do both. You're just mad because you can speak more than one language. Moving right along. So at the end of the day, what that is trying to do is actually stave off illegal sneaking across the border and forcing them to come in through an entry point. The funny thing about that a lot of people leave out is all the day laborers come in through the legal entry points. All the illegals coming through across the fucking border. Entry points, day laborers, show their ID, they come into the United States, they go do some work, they do that work, they check out, they go back across the border. Illegals, on the other hand, they try to sneak across the border. Unfortunately, what a lot of people don't know is a lot of illegals actually get sent back more times than not than a lot of other people actually realize. So what you're actually seeing is day laborers coming in, day laborers going out. And illegals actually go out, and illegals actually get kicked out under the cloak of darkness for all intents and purposes. So all those concentration camps are not him locking up Mexicans. It's basically locking up children that didn't belong to the people bringing them across the border because they asked them many questions and they failed to answer the questions. It'd be no different if you were to cross the border into like Canada or come back to the United States. They basically interrogate you as you're handing them your passport on why you're here, where you're coming from, shit like that. If you can't, they basically look at your ID and they look at your mannerisms and they look at the gestures that you do and they ask you simple questions so they can get a feel for you lying or if you're lying or not. They look at your ID, your name, Tico, Tren, I'm from such and such country, this, that, and the other. So they basically use that. They use that information. So when they go to ask you more questions, those initial questions are validating anything you basically say from here on out. So if you look nervous, you start acting funny, you start getting jittery, you start getting real nervous, then then your ass get pulled over to the side. It's pretty much how it works. It doesn't matter if you're legal or not, because trust me, I've known many U.S. citizens that are not Mexican, that are not black, that are white, who get nervous when they get asked questions at the border, and their asses get pulled aside, and then you gotta wait. Then they gotta wait to basically go through the border, basically, or get calls after the fact that they're not going to be able to make it, or their car gets impounded, so they got to get picked up at the border. I've seen a lot of white people go through that shit. It don't matter who it is, women and men both. At the end of the day, so what they do is basically take your fucking ID, you take your passport or your ID or your passport ID if you're if you're going to Mexico or coming back from Mexico or whatever the hell you want to call it. They basically take your ID or your passport ID and they basically ask you questions based on the information on your passport ID to basically be able to set the tone and get a proper gauge on if you're telling the truth or not. It's basically like a lie detector test. They basically ask you the simple questions first to actually establish for the lie detector what's truth and what's not, based on your nervousness and your jitteriness. That's pretty much how it works. Only they're doing this in real time while looking at you while doing this. So they'll ask you your name, you answer it honestly, they'll look at it, they'll confirm it, they'll ask you anything else, you pretty much confirm it, then they'll start asking you all the other questions. Now, very rarely, because this happens to me quite often, this happens to me quite more often than most other people, is I'll get it to the border and I'll get a Steeler fan. Because I'm a Steeler fan and I typically wear a lot of Steeler gear. So it'll go from my name to talking about the Steelers. In a heartbeat. Don't ask me any other questions besides what do I think of the Steelers? What do I think the Steelers thing is? So they basically just let me in basically for the fact that they're Steeler fans. I will admit that actually happens to me quite often. I will say that. However, what a lot of people don't realize is at the border, let it be Border Patrol or let it be pretty much Border Patrol. That's pretty much who handles this shit. They basically ask all these tough questions to people crossing the border illegally. If their shit don't match up or line up, they get jailed. They get thrown in detention centers. We're going to sort out who's who and who's really who. That's basically how this shit works at the end of the day when it comes to policies. So no, innocent people aren't being locked up. Only thing innocent is the fact that a child got ripped from their fucking parents and they're trying to traffic that child across the fucking border. That's pretty much how that works. This is what they do. This is what coyotes are. It's not the fucking animal, you dumb fucking Harvard person, or you blue fucking check marks. It's not a fucking animal. It's a fucking human being that traffics fucking children. Now, I will admit this. I will say this. There are coyotes that take whole entire families across the border, but that's not who they're actually looking at. They're looking at the ones who bring children across the border and children only. Those are the ones they're focusing on. The ones with the families, the ones who bring whole entire families across the border, and they can actually confirm that the families actually match, they're the least of their problems. The ones where the children don't match the fucking adult with them, and the child can't really confirm who the fuck the adult is, those are the ones that are being thrown in detention centers. End of story. That's the best way I can describe it to you. whether you like it or not. So that's that spiel. On top of that, you also get like black people that'll say stupid shit like, well, racism is at an all-time high under Trump. No, it's not. No, it's not. It was actually at an all-time high. It was actually at one of the all-time highs under Obama. Racism was at an all-time high under Obama. The sad part about that, the difference between the Obama administration and the Trump administration is cops actually got arrested and lost their fucking jobs during the Trump administration. Under the Obama administration, cop shoots a black person, cop goes back to work, gets found innocent, end the fucking story. Fundamental difference between what happens under the Obama administration and the Trump administration. Motherfuckers get shot under the Trump administration, they lose their fucking job, and they fucking go to jail most of the times. That's pretty much how that works. Under the Obama administration, they get a slap on the wrist, they go back to work, and they find nothing wrong with the cops, and they find that the person was in the wrong, even if they weren't in the wrong. They go back to work. Fundamental difference between the Obama administration and the Trump administration. The Trump administration was actually working on reform, officer reform, whereas the Democrats weren't working on reform for officers. It's pretty much status quo with Democrats. So if you shoot a nigga, you shoot a nigga, you shoot a nigga, you get your job back, basically. You go on paid leave, and you get your job back. You shoot a nigga under Trump administration, you don't go on paid leave, you just leave. We'll do an investigation. Your ass is getting arrested. Your ass is going to jail. You're not paid the whole entire time. When this investigation's over, then your ass can come back to work, depending on how bad it is. Now, a lot of them get put on death duty, yes. That depends on the severity of the crime. Now, most of them actually get not laid off. A lot of them get suspended without pay, and they go home without pay until the trial's over, basically. And the sad part about that is a lot of them actually go from home to the trial to jail. That's the part that we actually leave out, and that's the part that we actually miss. Home to jail. Home to trial to jail. They don't ever play those stories at all. They only play the small amount where the officer gets off. They don't play the large amount where officers are actually literally going to jail. That's not really good police. That's not really good. That's not good for TV for all intents and purposes, because TV and news is all about ratings. You can't really spin it in a way and say the officer got arrested. Nobody's going to watch that. More people are going to watch the news if you tell them that the officer got off and didn't get charged. Because that's called drama. Drama market. That's all it really is. It's a drama market. That being said, moving right along in this policy, politics, and Coyotes and border wall. That's pretty much all. That's all pretty much connected for all intents and purposes when it comes to policies. The sad part about that is somebody said to me something very stupidly. When it comes to black people in the United States. And I forgot to pull this up before the stream. And a lot of people will say, well, we're being beat out by, other, I can't find it right now, but they're saying we're being beat out by all these other illegals and stuff like that. No, we're not. And no, the fuck we're not. The sad part about that is we can sing and dance and song and dance all this shit all we want to. Black people aren't being beat out by illegals. And forget you, no, sweetheart, Panthers suck. But we are not being beat out by illegals. That's not the reason why our numbers shrink. The reason why our numbers shrink is because we have a penchant for killing our fucking selves. That's the fucking truth, whether you like it or not. We have a penchant for killing ourselves in multiple different ways. And any form or fashionable way that we tend to kill ourselves, we have a high rate of killing ourselves at the end of the day. Let it be through, heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, which ends up being statistically what 1 in 4, 1 in 3 black people suffer from this shit. Ooh, I wonder why the black population is shrinking if 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 niggas is actually suffering from this shit. Gee, I wonder. Then on top of that, you got the black women aborting babies at a higher rate than everybody else in the United States. The black women own about anywhere between 60 to 80% of the abortions in the United States. Black baby being offed more often than a white baby, a Latin baby, and Arab, pretty much all other people put together. Black babies get offed in the United States more often than anything under the sun. It is what it is, whether you like it or not. That's one of the many reasons why the black population is shrinking in the United States, because we simply like offing each other. It's just what it is. We simply hate each other. We have no sense of community, so we off each other. That's typically how this shit works, whether you like it or not. We hate each other. Our sense of community is based on how we feel at that moment. And if we feel a certain way about it, then our closeness goes away and it dissolves for, bloodshed and tears for all intents and purposes later. That's pretty much the problem that was happening with the black community. And then there's also black on black crime. And before anybody getting here talking shit, there's also white on white crime. There's also Latin on Latin crime. There's also Indian on Indian crime. There's Asian on Asian crime. There's other on other crimes. It pretty much goes across the board. There's crimes for every damn body. But the problem and the difference between black people and all the rest of these people is their numbers aren't shrinking. Their numbers are still growing or maintaining. Black numbers are actually shrinking throughout the many fucking years. The sad part about that, we'll talk about immigration this, immigration that, when in fact the black population has been on a steep decline forever. I'm not talking about percentage-wise. I'm talking about the overall population of blacks. The black population is literally going fucking down every so often. I mean, it goes back up, but it actually took a steep drop. I forget the actual years where it took a steep drop, and now it's starting to go back up now very slowly. It's starting to go back up. Well, it's going back up faster than Colombia's population, but the growth is faster than an actual whole entire country's population. But at the end of the day, the black population actually took a steep drop at the end of the day. It's not because of immigration. It's because the lack of community unity at the end of the day. If you don't have that community unity, you can't sit up here and preach that it's systemic racism at the end of the day. You can't preach that shit if you don't have the community or the unity and community to basically make the changes. And then the sad part about that is you'll run into a lot of niggas that'll say this and that quote. I don't care what other people think of me. Well, and that's the reason why you're in the message that you're in now. At the end of that's exactly why you're in the message you're in now. Because at the end of the fucking day, it's all about PR. How you market yourself as a group of people. Good example of that is how white people see, because they'll say, well, black people, well, it don't matter. White people see black people the same, no matter if you're Jamaican or Afro-Latino or this, that, and the other. No, they don't. No, they don't when they hire black people. They're more likely to hire a Jamaican over an African-American any fucking day. They're more likely to hire an Afro-Latino or an African over an African-American any fucking day. It's just fucking facts. Whether you like it or not, that's basically how they see people. Like I've actually said this multiple times from multiple different jobs when it came to white people that hired me. These heifers and these guys literally said, and I quote, he's not black, he's Afro-Latino, or he's not black, he's Afro-Latino, Afro-Caribbean. Exactly the words out of their fucking mouth. They basically already disassociated me with y'all niggas and actually put me in my own fucking category over here. That's exactly how they do that shit. So no, black people get seen differently amongst the eyes of other people. A white woman's more likely to date a Jamaican than she is to date an African American. A white lady's more likely to date an Afro-Latino than she is to date an African American. It's just fucking facts, nigga. Step up your game. It's just that simple. They're more likely to date an African. They're more likely to date a fucking an Afro-Caribbean more times than they're going to date an African American. It is what it is. It just is what it is. Because the sad part about that, it all comes down to culture. Despite the fact, well, we black people got culture. No, you don't. You got to borrow culture. White people sell and trade your soul culture like it's the stock market. They pretty much sell it to people abroad. People abroad buy it up. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you can't say you have culture when none of the niggas is actually buying your shit. It's all white people buying your shit. It is what it is. Suck it up, cupcake. Middle America is the ones that's buying your shit. Jay-Z, Fetty Wap, all these motherfuckers, Megan Thee Stallion, Little Kim. Oh, Little Kim's a bit of a different story. Black people are buying that up more than white people. All these Nicki Minaj and who's that other goofy Latin bitch? I don't even fucking know her name because I really don't care to know her name because every time I hear her voice, it just irritates me. That Latin bitch. Yeah, her. That one that did the one with Megan Thee Stallion. The sad part about that is at the end of the day, white people are more likely to buy this music than black people are. Black people are more likely to pirate this music more than white people are. The same thing goes for movies. Black people are more likely to pirate a movie than white people. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for Black Panther. Black people are more likely to go to the movie theaters to see a black starred movie that's actually written very well and done very correctly. They're willing to spend their hard-earned money on a movie like that. If it looks like trash, we will pirate the fuck out of it. Basically, hell, I've been known to do that a couple times with some movies. Like, oh, that movie looked like shit. I'll just take it off my homeboy. I'll just take it off my homeboy over here. You know, my homeboy Ray over here selling the DVDs and shit like that. Because fuck that movie and fuck Universal. Like there are movies where I actually would literally spend my money on if it's actually written very well and done very nicely. If it's done very poorly and you're trying to shoehorn in bullshit, I'm not going to buy it. Just like every other nigga, we're not going to buy it. We're more likely to pirate it or buy it from somebody who pirated it for us. It is what it is. Just keeping it 100. So at the end of the day, that's pretty much how this shit works. I will say I do participate in that every now and again. Oh, do you want the Avengers? Which one? Endgame? No. I'll wait for Pookie to come around with that shit, nigga. I'm not paying for Endgame like that. No, I'm not going out like that, nigga. No. I'm not paying for Endgame like that. It wasn't even worth my fucking money. I'll get it from Pookie for like $3, nigga. What? Stop playing. And that's pretty much how it works. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, this is basically what a lot of people are facing. And they always want to try to portray it in a certain way. And the sad part about that, like I said, black culture is being sold to white people abroad and Asians abroad. The sad part about that is if you go to a certain section of Japan or Korea, you'll see a subsection, you'll see a subculture of Koreans or Asians basically acting like they're Latino or black. Like there's a group of Koreans that literally got lowriders like they're Latinos. And they act and dress just like cholos. It's very cringy and it's very fucking funny at the same damn time. They literally dress like cholas. And there's also a subsection of those same Asians that'll dress like they're black people. They'll wear the hood gear. They'll have the baggy pants. They'll wear the jewelry. They'll have the iced out fucking grills. They'll have all this fucking shit. And it is what it is. At the end of the day. So you have no culture. Your culture's been bought and sold. Your culture's been given to you, then turned around and bought and sold multiple times over and over again. At the end of the day. That's pretty much how that works. That's pretty much how that works. So love it or hate it, you have no culture. Like Jamaicans and Afro-Latinos and Africans and Afro-Caribbeans all have culture. They all stick to each other. They all live near each other. If you ever notice something about like Afro-Caribbeans and Afro-Latinos and Africans, they typically live in or near each other to the point where if all hell breaks loose, they got their homeboy there for all intents and purposes. And no matter what goes down, right or wrong, they always got their back. I mean, well, as long as they're right, they always got their back. Because what I've noticed about immigrants, black immigrants from other countries is they have this black immigrants and Latinos, they typically have this do for self attitude. Self-made attitude or do for self attitude. Whereas African Americans just, expect the bus to come by or expect a Brinks truck to roll by and money to fall off of it or something like that, basically. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some African Americans who do climb up out of obscurity. I will admit that. Yes, there is. There are some that do that. However, a vast majority don't. And a lot of them just don't make it. It is what it is. Accept it. A lot of y'all don't make it. Because at the end of the day, it is what it is. Let it be jail. Let it be the life. Let it be death. Let it be any of this shit. A lot of brothers don't make it. A lot of black people just don't make it. I'm just keeping it 100, whether you like it or not. So what you deal with is you end up dealing with a lot of problems around this, that's around this shit, that a lot of people don't want to address or talk about, or a lot of people want to sweep under the rug or refer to as straw mans, or sweep under the rug and pretend like it's not happening. And they pretty much, because like, here's the thing. The more you pretend like it's not happening, the more you're complicit in the stupid shit happening. It is what it is, whether you like it or not. Suck it up. If you pretend like it's not happening, or you look the other way while it's happening, you do nothing, you're just as complicit in the shit as everybody else is who's actually doing the shit. Because at the end of the day, I've always found it funny how, one white cop can shoot a black person, everybody's up in arms. One black person shoots multiple black people, nobody sheds a tear, besides the family members of that black person. And maybe, just maybe, his boys. And the sad part about that, we all know how that works out. If that dude that got shot is with some chick, 9 times out of 10, his boy is rolling in, trying to come in and cuff his chick, basically, even after he's dead. Black dude always will try to come in and cuff his chick after he's dead. Like, he was with this girl, that was his baby mama. You always wanted to be with his baby mama. Now that nigga dead, now you're trying to cuff his baby mama now. That's pretty much how that works. And it is what it is. Like, so it's far different than, like, a religious thing from the Bible where if you're not married as a person and your brother dies and you're not married as a man, you basically take on your brother's debt. You basically take on your brother's debt and all this shit. That's pretty much what that is. So it's totally different from you watching your boy die to you cuffing your boy's girl the next day. The same thing goes for niggas that go to jail. The minute a nigga goes to jail, you can't expect that hoe to be loyal. There's no loyal hoes when you go to jail. I've banged many bitches whose niggas is in jail. I'm just keeping it 100. I know a lot of other niggas that bang a lot of bitches whose niggas is in jail. Like, the nigga ain't dead. The nigga's coming back eventually. Why are you cheating on that nigga? Why are you stepping on that nigga? Well, I got needs. Okay, well, obviously you're not faithful. And to all the niggas in jail, she a hoe. She a hoe. It is what it is. Because there's no such thing as a faithful woman if you're away for a long period of time. Let it be the military or let it be jail. There's no faithful woman if you're going to be away for a period of time. She's banging somebody else. She's a hoe. And women who are in the military, who are married, who go away from their family for a very long time, she a hoe. Just keeping it 100, whether you like it or not, she a hoe. Or as I say, she for the streets. But yeah, it's one of those things where you have to understand that, she's not going to be faithful. Like they say in the red pill community, they say it so often, and people get mad at the red pill community and the MGTOW community saying it. She's not yours, it's just your turn. It's just fucking facts, whether you like it or not. No matter how much you hate hearing that quote, she's not yours, it's just your fucking turn. So understand that, live with that, and accept that. People have a problem with acceptance, and they don't want to accept it or agree with it. That's your problem. Do you want to be all in your feelings when you find out your hoe cheated on you with another man and you're raising somebody else's baby? Your fucking fault. It's the same niggas that get mad if you step on their fucking Jordans or bump into them in the club on accident. They get into their emotions and they want to shoot up the place. Sad part about that is Pookie and Ray Ray don't do that shit. Pookie and Ray Ray expect an apology. If you don't give them an apology, they'll fuck you up. If you give these people apologies, they'll fuck you up no matter what. If you give Pookie and Ray Ray apology, they'll let you slide. As long as you did it by accident, you did it, you ain't do it, you ain't do it maliciously. Pookie and Ray Ray will let you slide on that for all intents and purposes. That's the fundamental difference between Pookie and Ray Ray and fucking fuckboys. Fuckboys will try to fight you over some shit like that. Pookie and Ray Ray expect an apology. Pookie and Ray Ray do shit on principle. Because Pookie and Ray Ray know if they get into some shit, they got to do everything in their power to get themselves out of there before the cops show up. Pretty much how it works. Fuckboys will sit there, beat somebody's ass, and go back to the dance for like some dumbasses, basically. That's typically what fuckboys do. And it is what it is. It's the culture. Suck it up. And black people are always in their feelings at the end of the day. Like a large chunk of the African American community are in their feelings. Now, like a good example of that is, if I say something to two people, like if I say something to some rando in a black community, versus if I say something to No Sweetheart or Freaky Jersey Tales or True Sherm or Mr. Forma or Mr. Forma or Red Pill Fred or JD Miles or Mystery Elite or fucking Hammerhead's not black, Elder Monk. If I say something to Elder Monk, they all listen to me. They go, okay, Tico, I know you had to say something, so obviously the reason you're saying it, obviously I'm fucking up. Because if I tell you that you're both wrong, you're both wrong. I'm not taking any sides. You're both wrong. The minute you open your mouth and run your mouth, I'm going to focus on you and tell you where you're wrong. I'm not still taking sides. You just got in your feelings and you opened your mouth, and now you got to catch these verbal hands now. It's that simple. I don't care if you accept it or not. You're going to find out you're very wrong, and I really don't care how you feel about it. At the end of the day, typically the difference between niggas who do this and the niggas I just named, from all those people from, Freaky Jersey Tales all the way to No Sweetheart, all the way to Elder Monk and all those other people, is if I tell them they're wrong, they'll look at me and they'll go, or they'll get quiet and go, yeah, Tico's right. Like a good example of that is, I don't know Mega Man enough to actually be cool with Mega Man, but Mega Man knows me enough to say, you're wrong. He's able to actually reflect on himself, realize he's wrong, and just stay quiet and go, yeah, he got me. Tico got me on that one. I was wrong on that one. That's typically how a real man actually do shit. They'll reflect on the shit and go, yeah, I was wrong. They get quiet, they reflect on it, or they'll say to me, Tico, you're right. Or they'll just get quiet about it, and they'll typically just stay quiet most of the time while I'm talking, while I'm saying you're both wrong. That's pretty much how this shit works. I don't take sides. I basically tell you that you're wrong. And if you run your mouth, I'll tell you why you're wrong. It's that simple. Because it is what it is. Because people will try to say, well, you're taking sides, Tico. No, I'm not taking sides. You ran your mouth. You made the most noise. I pay attention to noise, just like a cat, just like any other animal, just like any other human being. I'm paying attention to the noise coming out of your mouth. It sounds like noise to me. So I'm automatically drawn to the noise coming out of your mouth. That's how it works. Whether you like it or not, it's fucking noise to me. Therefore, accept it. And that's pretty much how this shit works. It's not anything about emotion. It's not anything about anything. If I tell you you're both wrong, you're both wrong. It's not taking sides. Now, it'd be one thing if I said, you're wrong, but he was right because of this. Now I'm taking sides. If I say you're both wrong, you're both wrong. I don't care how you feel. This is the problem that a lot of African Americans have. They have a problem with accepting fault. They get in their fucking emotions and they cry like little bitches, and they always try to pass the fault off on somebody else or try to make it somebody else's fault because they're too busy being in their fucking emotions. That's pretty much how this shit works on a regular basis. I watch it happen. I see it happen. You can't deny it. I'll watch it, and I just let you cry like a little bitch. Because at the end of the day, I look at you like this. If I could say this to my 6-year-old, and he go, yeah, you got me on that, daddy. And he moves right along and he corrects himself. Why can't you do that as a grown-ass man? If my 6-year-old can do it, why can't you do it? Because I judge everybody who says stupid shit in my life based on my 6-year-old. If my 6-year-old son can accept the fact that he fucked up as a 6-year-old, you should be able to accept the fact that you fucked up as a grown-ass man. And no, I don't chastise my son. I merely tell him the same thing. Leslie, you know you fucked up, right? Yeah, daddy, I got it. I'm sorry. And he'll go correct it. That's or sometimes he won't say sorry and he'll just correct it for all intents and purposes. Because I've told my son that many times when he's gotten in trouble in school. I'll look at him like, you know, you fucked up, right? Yeah, Daddy, I know. I'll fix it. He'll be, that's basically what he'll say to me. I'll fix it, and that's pretty much what it is. He'll fix it. What's up, No Sweetheart, Elder Monk, and Billy the Goat? He'll fix it. He ain't gonna cry about it. He ain't gonna bitch about it and say, but Daddy, he wasn't on my side and this, that, and the other. No, nigga, you was wrong. Fix it. That's all I want to hear. No excuses. Just fix it. It's that simple. Hell, my daughters, they're women. They're young women. And when they're able to take fault better than goofy ass niggas from the hood. If I tell my oldest daughter, you fucked up in school, you lose your car, she doesn't cry. She merely accepts it. She says she's sorry, and she will try to do better. If I snatch her car away from her phone, her car, anything. If I snatch something away from her and I put her on punishment, she'll do her best to correct her mistakes, basically. She ain't gonna sit up there and cry like most other people, or men or women, basically. That's not fair. I can't believe this. And why are you picking on me? And why are you not taking my side? Or you're taking side. They don't do that shit. My children don't do that shit. And I don't even have to beat my children. My children don't do that shit. They basically know that they fucked up, and they basically go about correcting it properly. Niggas, on the other hand, some of these other niggas, on the other hand, that be in their fucking emotions. And what I mean by that is, when I talk about niggas, I mean like the same way I talk about emo black pillars is the same way I talk about these emo niggas, basically. Some refer to them as emo niggas. These emo niggas get in their emotions, try to justify why they're acting the way they do, try to justify all this shit. And if you know anything about me, that's not what I want to hear. All I want to hear is I got this. Matter of fact, I think I said that multiple times in that stream, but that's neither here nor there. I don't care about who's at fault. I don't give a fuck who did what. I don't give a fuck who fired what shot. I don't give a fuck who shot who. I don't give a fuck who decapitated who kidnapped whose child. All I want to hear is, I'm sorry, and let's correct this. That's all I want to fucking hear. I'm just a fucking mediator. Suck it up. I'm calling it like I see it. That's the problem that I have with these emo niggas, basically. Because a lot of these emo niggas get on my fucking nerves and they cry like little bitches. And the sad part about that, a lot of these emo niggas cry worse than women. I'm just keeping it 100. A lot of these emo niggas cry worse than women. You don't like it? Come see me. You know where to find me, nigga. You know where to find me. My address is on my address and my phone number is actually on my channel. On my channel. My email's even on my channel too. My address, my phone number, and my channel, or my address, my email, and my phone number are on my channel some damn where. You can find me, nigga. And if I'm not in the United States, I'll be happy to buy you a ticket so you can come and get your ass kicked. It is what it is. But unfortunately, you're probably going to have to need you're going to need a passport for that, so you might want to get your passport first and then come see me. Because I'm actually willing to pay for a ticket to drag your ass some damn where and then leave your body in the middle of nowhere. It is what it is. Because right now we're not in America, therefore anything can happen to your body. Let's just say that. If you feel that bold, that is. And the sad part about that, like I said, the difference between the men in the manosphere and the men outside the manosphere, or the emo niggas that call themselves manosphere niggas, is the men not just named from Seafood Black Irish all the way up to even Hammerhand. We'll even go with the white people in the manosphere. Every single person, well, about 90% of the manosphere, if I tell them that you was wrong for that, right? They'll all get quiet, or they'll all be like, yeah, you was right, Tico. You right about that, nigga. You right about that, my nigga. But you do got some emo niggas in here. And when I say niggas, I mean everybody across the board. You got some emo niggas in here. They'll be like, well, Tico was wrong, and this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. And they'll go on like whole entire tirades and rants. Like, okay, nigga, whatever. Are you done now? Legit. Because I look at it like this. Here's how you know you're dealing with an emo nigga. And when I say emo nigga, I mean everybody across the board. Black, white, Chinese, Puerto Rican, Asian, Arab, even women who act like niggas too. Here's how you know you're dealing with an emo nigga. They'll get all irate and emotional, start calling people names and shit along the lines of that. And you haven't even called nobody a name. You haven't even called nobody out their name. You're actually calling them by their name that's presented on the screen, or by their government name if you know them personally. And these niggas want to call you all types of names. Like, nigga, what's all this for? Why are you doing all this name calling? Well, no, like, no, see, nigga, you and your emotions right now. I'm not in my emotions. Like, nigga, you and your emotions. Let it go. You're in your emotions. That's pretty much how this works. What's up? Hola, hola, sweet padre. ¿Cómo está? But at the end of the day, what a lot of people don't realize when they get themselves into these messes, you're literally playing into that person's trap, whether you like it or not. You literally just walked into a big ass trap because at the end of the day, something I notice about African Americans, because I typically say even though I am black, I don't have the same relationship with the N-word that African Americans do. I don't have the same relationship with it. It doesn't bother me just like every other nigga basically does. And I say every other nigga, I don't say every nigga. I say every other nigga basically. It doesn't bother me like every other nigga, like it does every other nigga basically. Because not all niggas are built equally, and some it doesn't bother, and some they'll let it slide, and some they get like they start flying off the fucking handles. It's pretty much how it works. So the N-word doesn't bother me. What does bother me is when I try to actually help a brother out so he won't be irate, so he won't look like a fool in front of everybody, they get mad. Like, no, nigga, no, I'm trying to help you out, nigga. I'm not picking on you. I'm helping you out, whether you like it or not. I'm that nigga that gives you tough love. I pretty much approach everything like a fucking dad. I approach you the same way I approach my children. So, like, if you're doing wrong, you're doing wrong. It's your job to accept it and move on or act like a dumbass for all intents and purposes. And it's pretty much all it really is. It's like, no, dude, you can't come at me sideways and then try to call me names, especially when I never called you a name in the first damn place, and then try to turn around and justify while you're calling me names. Because at the end of the day, I lose more respect for you every single time you open your fucking mouth. It is what it is. You may not like it. It is what it is. I lose more respect for you the minute you open your mouth. The more you fucking open your mouth, the more respect I lose for you. That's good to hear. And the sad part about that is, look, if I lose respect for you, I lose respect for you. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, fuck this nigga. And I'll literally say that, oh, fuck this nigga. It's like, because I have no problem with doing that. And the sad part about that is like, you're just in your emotions. You don't want to admit that you're in your emotions. You try to use all these other extra excuses, or you sit here and do what women do and what we refer to as gaslighting. You basically are gaslighting your way out of the fact that you're actually in your emotions. You'll say you're animated, or you'll say, this is how I am, or you'll say this shit. Like, nigga, I'm an asshole, but I'm not being an asshole to you right now. Do you see the difference? I was born an asshole. I am an asshole, but I'm not being an asshole to you right now. So I'm gonna need you to keep the same energy I'm trying to keep here and stay cordial. Like, and the sad part about that, this is something I notice about a lot of niggas. They lack the civility and the tact to actually understand that they're actually not in their own environment. They're in somebody else's environment. So they want to act all tough and big and bad in somebody else's environment. Look, nigga, you're not in your own place. You're in somebody else's house. Respect the host. Respect the fucking host. If you can't do that, then you shouldn't be in the fucking stream. If you're going to get emotional about it, don't be in the fucking stream. If somebody makes you feel some type of way, you might want to remove yourself from the stream, count to 10, and then bring your dumb ass back to the stream. Because at the end of the day, what you can't sit up here and do is run around here running off at the mouth, talking about everybody sitting up here interrupting you when you literally came into the stream and said, sorry about that, Tico, for interrupting you. We all know you interrupted me first. It's literally in a video. We all seen it. We all heard it. We're not deaf. We're not dumb. And we're not blind. We've all seen the shit. You've actually admitted to interrupting me. You said you were sorry, Tico. And you moved right along and continuously just interrupted me. And I gave you the road to actually do so. Even though I wasn't even fucking done, I gave you the road to do so. It is what it is. Because right there, what that lets you know about me is I'm going to give you the right of way to either A, hang yourself, or prove that you're actually sorry for actually interrupting me, basically. So you could take one or two paths. Hang yourself or come in smart and prove that you're sorry for actually interrupting me. It's simple mathematics. And that's basically how I view people. The minute you open your mouth and start saying some stupid shit, start calling people out their fucking name when they don't even fucking deserve it, especially other people in the stream, then I know you're full of shit. You're a full of shit person. And you have nothing of value that you can say to me anymore. And I've already stopped listening to you. And it's that simple. Like, I'm not even listening to anything you fucking saying. The minute you start saying off the wall stuff and then start making excuses for a lot of the dumb shit coming out of your mouth, I stop listening to you all automatically. I literally mute my mic. I mute my mic, I mute my headphones, and I take my headphones off and I walk away from the computer and I go do some other shit. So I'm not even fucking listening to you. That's pretty much how I roll. I've done it multiple times in streams. Everybody knows how I roll. I'll just get up and walk away. And I won't even hear a whole entire section of conversation. And I'll go back to what I was talking about before I was rudely interrupted. That's pretty much how I operate. Hell, I've been known to get mad at somebody in my stream, walk away from the stream for like about 30 minutes, and then come back, not listening and not knowing what the fuck the motherfucker said, and come back and find out that this nigga, well, why are you doing this? No, nigga, I'm trying to finish what I was saying. Obviously, you're done. And that's pretty much how I operate. So you can't sit up here and talk about this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. Because at the end of the day, for all y'all motherfucking naysayers that talk shit on Hammerhand and Mr. Elite, if I were to tell Hammerhand or let's just say hypothetical, if Hammerhand or Mr. Elite were going at it, and I was to say to both of them, you know both y'all niggas is wrong right now, right? They would go from arguing with each other to, let me think about that. They literally would. Because I literally would say that to both of them. If they were going at it for no damn reason, or if it was like a misunderstanding or anything, or if somebody said something and somebody took it wrong and are going at each other, I would literally tell both of them that y'all know both y'all niggas is wrong right now. I have no problem with doing it. I've done it multiple times with a lot of heavy hitters in the manosphere. I ain't got no problem with punching up or punching down. I've done it multiple times. You're both fucking wrong. And the sad part about that is, because I know these two so well, or know these two decently, one of two things is going to happen with these two. Mr. Elite going to say, all right, Tico. Hammerhand's going to say to me, well, brother, or something along the lines of that to me, basically. So it's one of those things where it's like, they may not talk right then and there, but they'll go back to their corners. They'll think it out. They'll let it maul around in their head. Then they'll come back and talk to each other again. That's pretty much how this shit's supposed to work. Unfortunately, you got a lot of goofy ass motherfuckers where it doesn't even work that way for them. It is what it is. It's sad. It's true. You may not like it, but it is what it is. And that's the problem that I have with a lot of people. Like, I lose respect for people very quickly who disrespect the host of the stream and disrespect everybody else in the stream. And especially if they come in the stream just popping off at the mouth like a dumbass. I don't listen to anything you say. I merely put down my fucking mic and my headset and I'll walk away from the computer or my phone. Or I'll merely like put my whole entire phone on mute or my whole entire laptop on mute, and I'll just sit there. And the sad part about that, half the time I'm able to do it without even put myself on mute, and I'm just merely sitting there. Because if I'm at my computer, I ain't gotta put mute on. All I gotta do is pretty much put my headset down, go do some other shit, and then come back eventually when I'm done with it. That's pretty much what I do. Like, my favorite one is that whole entire stream. When that nigga was popping off at the mouth, I merely put down my headset. I walked away from it. I washed some dishes. I mopped the floor. I told Lazo a bedtime story. I did some other shit. I made sure a security alarm system was on. I did some other shit. Checked my daughter's homework. Then came back to the stream. I wasn't listening for a good period of time, nigga. What? But it's one of those things. So it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, fuck it. This stream obviously ain't important because this nigga's just going to run off at the mouth and he's disrespectful to the host. Like, respect the host. Respect the host's house. You can't sit up here and pop off at the mouth and then apologize to the host, then turn around and pop off at the mouth again. It doesn't work like that. You're not respecting a host. You're still disrespecting a host. You're still wrong. No matter how you explain it, no matter how you chalk it up to, well, this person, that person. No, you're wrong. End of story. Don't pretend to be. Just do it. Don't make excuses about it. Just do it. Correct yourself, move along so you can be better. It is what it is. You fucked up, fix it, move on. Because like I remember there was an incident that happened. I'm not going to say no names, where somebody did some shit and didn't even bring me in on it and let me know. I got mad at both those people and said, you know what, fuck off, everybody, fuck off. Let me say fuck off, everybody. And I went on about my merry way because I wasn't assaulted on it. And I felt some type of way. I did feel some type of way about it, but the fact that I wasn't assaulted about it let me know that I wasn't valued in my position. Therefore, I told him to fuck off. And eventually, one person came to talk to me and go, we're sorry. This, that, and the other. This how it went down. It wasn't my decision. It was his decision. And they decided on it. And this, that, and the other. And this, that, and the other. Are you okay now? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. Still mad, but perfectly fine. Feel disrespected, but perfectly fine. And we earned it out from there. After I told everybody to fuck off. Let me say fuck off. And I told everybody to fuck off. And typically, and the sad part about that is this wasn't some random people. These were technically considered as superiors in this very realm for all intents and purposes. My superiors in this very realm. I basically told everybody to fuck off. And I left for all intents and purposes for a minute. And I thought about it. And I was doing other shit. I was fixing shit and I was doing other shit, basically. And I went from there. One person eventually came to me and go, sorry, Tico. Sorry we didn't let you know. Like, why are you upset, Tico? Sorry we didn't let you know. This, that, and the other. This, that, and the other. Like, yeah, I'd have been, like, I don't give a fuck if you make this decision. Like, give me the heads up first if you're going to be making these decisions. Let me know that I actually count and I'm not just some random person because you needed to fill a quota, basically. It's just one of those things. So it's like, if you're going to disrespect me, at least buy me dinner first. At least buy me a drink first or something like that. And it is what it is. So at the end of the day, it's not one of those things where, like, if I tell you you're wrong, you're wrong. I'm not looking at it from anybody else's side, but from my perspective. I'm basically one of them niggas, if you understand me well. I'm one of them niggas that can step outside myself, step back, and look at the whole entire board, the whole entire game board, and realize what's fucking going on. Understand how I see it, understand how everybody else sees it, and understand how everybody else sees it in the stream. Therefore, I'm able to do that. Unfortunately, there are not too many people that can actually do that and think else and step outside yourself and think for a minute, okay, Tico's right, or okay, how is this fucked up? How did this get this fucked up, basically? And if it gets fucked up, there's a reasoning behind it being fucked up. If I'm able to step outside myself, look at it and go, this is fucked up, and step back in myself and go, this is fucked up, here's why. And you can't accept that. I said that it's fucked up. That's your fault. I don't care how you feel about it. That's something within yourself that you need to correct yourself. I don't care how you feel. Your feelings are your feelings. Keep it that way. As my grandma says, su siento, su siento, su siento, su sentimento. Dang, tongue twister. Su sentimento. Basically, it's your feelings are your feelings. But I can't do that tongue twister. My grandma's really good at that. But yeah, it is what it is. Like, just accept it. It's your thing. You have to correct your problem. It's not my problem because you're the one that's got to live with that problem. I ain't got to live with that problem. When I log off from here, nigga, I don't know you from a can of paint, nor do I care about you. I'm in the same headspace as Guru to Ghost. Once I log off, I log off. So it doesn't matter what's going on. So it's one of those things where, like, people need to learn how to do better with themselves. People need to learn how to accept fault or accept responsibility for their actions for all intents and purposes. And a lot of people can't do that. And that's very sad. And that goes to show the type of people we're raising in this world. Like I said, like, the black number is shrinking It's growing a little bit, but it should be growing exponentially faster based on how many black women actually have children every year. It should be growing leaps and bounds. We shouldn't be below the Latinos. No matter how much immigration is happening or illegal immigration is happening, we should not be below the Latinos in the least bit. We shrank because we kill ourselves. We shrank. We're shrinking. They're growing. Everybody else is growing or staying stagnant. We're shrinking. Big difference. That's not how this shit works. You don't sit up here and shrink and lose your place. You don't. Everybody else loses their place around you. Like a good example, if white people are staying stagnant, why aren't black people staying stagnant or growing? Why are Asians growing and black people are shrinking? Why are Arabs growing but black people are shrinking? Why are Indians growing but black people are shrinking? Let's just keep it 100 for a second. You can't blame all this shit on just one race of people. It's your race getting in front of your own selves. That's all it really is. It's your race getting in front of yourselves and destroying your own fucking selves. Let it be crime in your neighborhood, violent crimes in your neighborhood. Let it be the abortion rates, because you own what black women own, like 60 to 80% of it, 60% of it. I'll be nice to say 60% of it. Black women own 60% of it. So the sad part about that, if you were to cut that number in half, let's just put it this way. If you were to cut that number in half, black people would have more people on Earth. I mean, more people in the United States than Latinos right now if you cut that number in half. Just to cut that number in half. You cut that 60% in half, cut it down to 30. Black people will have more heads per capita than Latinos. Black people will still be the go-to minorities if abortions weren't that high, if we weren't killing each other at the same rate, if we weren't dying from heart disease, high blood pressure, and cholesterol, and heart attacks and diabetes. We would still be the premier minorities. You would still be the premier minorities at the end of the day. It's sad. It happened. It's done now. Question is, how do you fix it? Because when it comes to the black community, I don't want to hear any excuses. All I want to hear is how you're correcting it. Because at the end of the day, this is exactly how the rest of the world looks at you. And I already know what I'm going to hear from a lot of niggas, emo niggas already. I don't care what they think. And that's exactly why you're in the mess you're in now, you dumb fucks. That's exactly why you're in the mess you're in now, because you don't care what other people think of you. And this is why nobody wants to come in and help you. This is why your neighborhood's in squalor. This is why there's a single mother epidemic. This is why niggas are spending a lot of time in jail, a lot of time on drugs, a lot of time as runaways, a lot of times 6 feet under, a lot of times in mental hospitals, a lot of times on psychotropic drugs, a lot of times on drugs and alcohol, a lot of time teen pregnancy. It is what it is. So that's exactly how people see you. Like, there's no way to clean it up. Even if you say systemic racism, it is what it is. Because I will say this, though. I will give you the benefit of the doubt on this. I will say this. If a black man commits a crime in a white neighborhood, he goes to jail. Done deal. If a black man commits a crime in a black neighborhood, he'll get bail. If he can make it. It is what it is. If he commits crime in a white neighborhood, he goes to jail. Commits crime in a black neighborhood, he'll get bail. I will give you that. So let that shit swirl around in your head for a little bit. And you might want to work on how they actually retain niggas in jail, basically, versus on how they actually let niggas out of jail more often if they commit a crime in a black neighborhood versus, a white neighborhood. A lot of black people know this shit already. It's typically why they do the crimes in black neighborhoods. There's a lot of dumb niggas that'll do crimes in white neighborhoods and end up in jail for a very, very long time. There's a lot of niggas that commit crimes in black neighborhoods who know this, and they're less likely to actually go to jail. Or it'll probably be put off for like 5, 10, 20 years before they actually arrest your ass. It'll be a cold case. A lot of smart black people know this shit. A lot of smart black criminals know this shit. If I lay low for a little bit, it'll be a cold case in no time. In a black neighborhood. Ain't nobody investigating shit in a black neighborhood. Let's just keep it 100. Cops show up late any fucking way. What? Cops show up after the crime is over. Everybody in, like, let's just put it this way. Cops in a black neighborhood show up. By the time a cop shows up in a black neighborhood, that nigga was able to call somebody to get him a change of clothes, get him another car to get away, and do any other stupid shit in the world, basically, to get away. By the time the cops show up. The sad part about that is they're more likely to show up faster in a white neighborhood than they are in a black neighborhood. Sad part about that is every now and again, they're still kind of late showing up at a white neighborhood after the crime actually is committed. Every now and again. But something I did notice, if it's a known criminal, cops will show up ASAP for that known criminal in a black neighborhood. It is what it is. Moving on to the next topic, because I got a bunch of shit to talk about in this stream. I've already covered the Coyotes, the wall, the politics, and the policies. That pretty much all went into one. I covered Pookie versus Ray Ray versus Tyrone. I mean, Pookie and Ray Ray versus Tyrone versus fuckboys. I've already covered white knighting for women, political leanings, statistics in black men. Covered that in that last rant too, so I got that out the way. Black men and their feelings. Oh, black women. Look, I love you dearly. You're very precious. Yeah, I'm Tico Tren. Not Tyrone, not, Trent or fucking, Thomas or anybody like that. I'm from Latin America. I cannot help your neighborhood. I cannot come back to your neighborhood and help your neighborhood if I don't know what's going on in your neighborhood. I can't give you the help that you need if you don't even know what's going on in your neighborhood, period. Don't ask me to help you with something I know nothing about. I know just what's going on in the neighborhood, but you got to tell me what you actually need to help your fucking neighborhood. And it's not going to be no handout stuff. I will implement programs in that neighborhood to help you better. Don't be just asking me to come back and just spend time with children. Or don't be asking me to come back and drop money in a neighborhood. Or, spend money in a neighborhood if you're not willing to change your neighborhood or do any corrective actions to your neighborhood. I'm not willing to drop money on a bottomless pit. If I can actually see my money when I drop it and I can see the difference that it makes, I'm more than happy to drop the money in that fucking neighborhood. However, if I keep dropping money and I see no results, I am pulling out. Faster than a nigga that don't want to pay child support. Just keeping it 100. But yeah, come to me with actual problems or actual things that we can actually do in your neighborhood to correct it. Don't tell me that it'd be good if the kids seeing you, this, that, and the other. No, they need more than just seeing me. They need a whole entire program or after-school program to help them to stay off the streets or help them stay out of fucking trouble. Because the sad part about that is when I go to the neighborhoods, black kids refer to me as Mr. Tico. Or Mr. Quantz is my real name. Hey, Mr. Quantz. Hey, Mr. Quantz. How you doing, Mr. Quantz? Or every now and again, they'll refer to me by my business name. But usually it's, hey, Mr. Quantz. How you doing, Mr. Quantz? How you doing today, Mr. Quantz? All the young brothers usually do that shit. It's cool. I mean, when they call me Mr., I feel a bit old, but I've learned to suck it up, basically. It's respect, basically. They're giving you respect, and I got to suck it up. Because I've noticed this with a lot of the young brothers, basically, in the neighborhood, and a lot of the young ladies in the neighborhood. They refer to me as Mr. Quantz. How you doing today, Mr. Quantz? How you doing, Mr. Quantz? Hi, Mr. Quantz. Hey, Mr. Quantz. Stuff like that. It is what it is. So, there's obviously more that they actually need. If they have role models, those role models need to step up and do more for those neighborhoods. Now, the sad part about that is I'm not a part of their neighborhood. So I know what they need, but even though they have respect for me, I'm not a part of their neighborhood, and I know this. So I need another person that would be a part of their neighborhood to step up as well as I am, so we can help actually do some work to actually make their neighborhood better. Let it be a black boys and girls club. I don't give a damn. We can do a black boys and girls club. We can do a black version of the fucking Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts for all I care. I don't give a damn. As long as we come up with some programs for these kids so they can stay the fuck out of trouble, get out of being teen and pregnant, basically, and stuff along the lines of that. As long as we can do that, I'm perfectly fine with that. If we're just going to say, just do nonsensical stuff, I can't. I cannot throw money at invisible shit. I am not willing to throw money at invisible shit. It is what it is. Now that I addressed that, black women, that's where I'm at right now with that. I already did the wall, okay, Coyotes, I did that, basically that. Oh, Afro-Caribbeans, Afro-Latinos, and Africans. I touched on this very little when it comes to culture. The reason why you don't really hear a peep from these communities is it's just that. They're communities. They're actually a community with a culture, with a certain vision, going a certain way. They're working together to better themselves in their community. Hell, I've seen Jamaicans and Latinos. I've seen Jamaicans, Latinos, and Africans do this shit on the regular. I shit you fucking not. This is exactly how they handle business when they come to America. They basically have this motto, no matter what language it is do for self. Do for self. So what you'll see with a lot of these Jamaicans or a lot of these Caribbean niggas, a lot of these Africans, and a lot of these Latinos is what you'll see is, especially you'll see it more with the Mexicans. Good example is it's the same thing across the board for all these communities. But you'll see it mainly with the Mexicans. You don't really see it too much with the other ones because they tend to keep their lives very private. But you'll see it with the Mexicans. This is a perfect example what immigrants actually do and how they can maintain community. Africans do this shit too. You'll see what Africans do. Africans and Latinos will literally do this shit. All right, they'll come here to America together. They'll work together, live together, pull that money together, buy a car for the first person. Everybody gets dropped off at work. Everybody gets more flexibility to get here, there, and everywhere. They work out all these fucking jobs. They work themselves from sun up to sundown to pay the rent, to send money back home, to save up money for the next person to get a car. So now that this person got a car, they're working together to get the second person a car. And there could be 4 or 5 people in a group. So they'll keep on doing this until everybody actually gets a car in a fucking group. All 4 or 5 of the people. That's typically how this works in these communities. They're that fucking tight knit that they'll literally ride in one car with each other and work together to get the next person a car, work together to get the third person a car, work together to get the fourth person a car, work together to get the fifth person a car if there's a fifth person in the group. So they pull their money together. They get it together. They send some home. They spend some on rent, and then they buy the person a car. They save up to buy the person a car, basically. So what ends up happening is everybody in that group ends up getting a new car, a car of some sort, basically. So now everybody gets a car in a group. Now everybody can have more flexibility to go do more jobs within this group. So they all get separate jobs and they all meet back at the house, basically. They all meet back at the chill spot, basically, which is the house that they live in, the apartment that they live in. So what'll happen is they all go to work at different times of the day. Ones will go to work at daytime, and the ones that go to work at night will be sleeping in the bed. Then the ones that work daytime will come home, and the ones that work at night will go to work, and the other ones, they'll sleep in the bed, basically. So it's one of those things where it's like they're always on their fucking hustle. They're always on their fucking grind, and they're always on their fucking hustle. Let it be Africans and or Latinos. They're always on their fucking hustle and grind. They work together. They build up enough money to the point where like they all got this flexibility. They pull together their money again, and usually what happens is one or two things will happen. Either they'll decide that we can go our own separate ways, or we can move into something bigger, or we can get each other new cars, or like I said, we can go our separate ways, or we can stay here basically and keep it going and keep sending money. That's decisions that they literally make. And they usually go with the most economically feasible decision that they could possibly make. And they basically make the money, pull it, and see what they got going on. Make the money, pull it, see what they got going on, and they make decisions based on that. Africans and both Latinos do this shit on a regular basis. This is how Africans are able to climb up the ladder fast. This is how Latinos are able to climb up the ladder fast. All because of community unity. Unfortunately, in the African American community, only time they're unified is when some stupid shit happens. That's it. No other reason. Everybody's this. Basically, only time black people really unify, unless they're actually family, and half the time family members don't even get the fuck along with each other. It's sad. Family members don't even get the fuck along with each other. See? Sweet Padre even co-signed on that. He's another Latino. He pretty much knows how this fucking works. This is how we roll, nigga. This is how we motherfucking roll. This is exactly how we fucking roll. Right here, what Sweet Padre says. That's it. That's exactly how it's happening. This is how we do it. Why can't y'all do the fucking same? Like legit. Like sometimes stunting isn't important. Sometimes getting this money, pulling this money, and bettering yourselves within your community builds a better community. Nobody ever thinks of that stuff. Everybody always thinks about running out to get the latest, the greatest phones and Jordans and jeans and shit like that. But nobody ever thinks about donating or putting that money back into their school district. Latinos do this from day one, as soon as they step foot on his fucking soil. Africans do this from day one, as soon as they step foot on his fucking soil. Afro-Caribbeans do this from day one, as soon as they step foot on his soil. Why can't black people do this shit? Why can't y'all have enough unity to do this shit with each other? I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some of y'all that are doing good who probably don't need to do that. But there are some of y'all in bad situations where y'all might want to work on doing this. Like, it might benefit you better to do this. Because the sad part about that, what you don't seem to understand is that camaraderie builds unity, community unity. People see this, people catch on, people repeat or repeat or emulate what you got going on right then and there. They copy, repeat, or emulate what you got going on right there, basically. That's exactly how it is. It's basically like the reverberation thing. If you do one good deed, it's a ripple. It goes out to other different people, and they all go on for all intents and purposes. And everybody feels good about their day, all because that one initial person sparked that ripple to make everybody feel good. Same thing goes if you come in with a badass attitude. You come in with a badass attitude, you done fucked up the person with a good day's attitude. Now he's going to fuck up the next person's attitude. Now we're going to fuck up that person's attitude. Now we're going to fuck up that person's attitude. And now everybody's going to have a bad fucking day, all because your badass, poor ass fucking attitude. That's pretty much how this fucking shit works. The sad part about that, nobody wants to acknowledge this or accept that, or everybody want to say those niggas is lame because they live together and they building this money. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, now you mad at these niggas. Now you mad at these African niggas or these Caribbean niggas or these Latin niggas over here because they all got new cars and you still hoofing it, nigga. Or you still catching public transportation, nigga. What? It is what it is. You can't sit up here and do dumb shit and expect everybody to help you if you're not willing to help yourself. If you're not willing to actually put forth the effort to show everybody that you want to change, nobody is willing to help you. Everybody takes you as a fucking joke. Literally takes you as a fucking joke. Oh, y'all should help us with this. Everybody looks at you and goes, and they just laugh at you. And they just walk away. Like, you got to put in the effort to let everybody know that you're changing. You got to continuously put in that effort. Because the sad part about that, it's not going to be instantaneous where people notice that you're doing this shit. It's just like working out at the fucking gym. The first month and a half, you're going to gain weight. You're going to gain weight or stay the same weight due to the fact that you're rebuilding back all that fucking muscle that you done fucked up from being lazy. So that's basically what happens within the first month and a half. You're going to stay the same weight for the fact that you're rebuilding back all that muscle that your body needs so it can turn around and then burn all that other fat off for all intents and purposes, because your body needs a certain amount of muscle before it could turn on the fat burning shit. So you got to build up all this muscle first that your body needs, so you can turn on the switch, so your body can start burning fat. So what happens is your first month and a half, you're going to either gain weight or stay the fucking same, for the fact that your body's repairing and rebuilding all the muscle that it actually needs, so it can turn around and turn on fat burning mode. And that usually happens between the first month to a month and a half, if you're hitting the exercises properly. If you're not hitting the exercises properly, you're not going to see shit. If you're not eating properly, or if you're not compensating in a gym for the garbage you just ate outside the gym, you're not going to see those results. Sad part about that is, like, I still participate in junk food, but I'll take my black ass to the gym to work off that junk food. Like, so if I eat a whole entire pizza, which never ever happens, I'm just using this hypothetically. If I eat a whole entire pizza, I look at the whole entire fucking calorie count of that pizza, and I'm gonna take my black ass to the gym, my Afro-Latino black ass to the gym, and go work off all them fucking calories, or damn near get close to working off all them damn calories. I will hit the gym as long as I need to hit that gym. I would do all the high impact reps. I would do all the fucking treadmilling. I would do all the fucking chin ups, all the fucking presses, all the fucking ellipticals, I will hit up every fucking single gym in that machine, every single piece of equipment in that machine, until I feel as though I worked off a decent chunk of those fucking calories. That's how I roll, baby. That's the fuck how I roll. All these other niggas get lazy with this shit. Like, well, no, it's my rest day, so I don't need to do all that. No, nigga, you about to gain back that weight. I'm gonna need you to be on your purpose. And just like Sweet Padre said, the government don't do shit for you. They'll never do shit for you. They'll act like they're doing shit for you and make you feel good about yourself, but they'll never do shit for you. It is what it is. Hell, you're basically fitting culture right now. You're basically what, like, you're half black, half Filipino. I'm not shocked to hear that a Filipino is living with their parents. It's like just like Latinas in Costa Rica and various other Latin countries. Latinas will actually stay with their parents if they're not married, or if they don't have a prospect, for all intents and purposes. Latinas will stay with their parents until they find a prospect, or something along the lines of that, to take care of them, or to be married off on, or anything like that, for all intents and purposes. What's up, Seeker? What's up, a manly load? Already said everybody else and Billy to go. Yeah. That's pretty much how that works. So at the end of the day, you're not working. You're working. Basically, you're working to save money, so you can have a better life, no matter if you like it or not. Typically, a lot of Latinas stay at home with their parents if they're not married, or if they don't have any reasonable suitors, basically. Even when Latinas tend to get divorced or break up with the father, a lot of them will go back home to their parents, for all intents and purposes. And that's typically how that works. There are some cultures where the males actually go back home with their parents, or stay at home with their parents until they find a girlfriend. Hell, there's some countries where they stay at home even if they're in relationships or married. I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole nother topic for race relations. A race relations channel, or probably a later video on this channel, basically, where I can actually, shoehorn that in properly. But at the end of the day, what's up, Seeker? At the end of the day, the thing that you have to understand is you're going to run into resistance. You're going to run into a lot of shit. It's all about how you stand up together as a people. No matter what the fuck your race is, let it be black or white or all together as one big human race. It's all about how you get along with other people and how you're portrayed, or how other people see you. Because the sad part about that, if you can't market yourself in a proper way to actually get what you need, you better be willing to work with motherfuckers who are like-minded like you and be willing to trust those motherfuckers that they won't dick you over. Sad part about that is what a lot of African Americans find out, that when you deal with somebody that got the same attitude as you, they're more likely to dick you over, shoot you themselves, and or bang your fucking girl while you're looking the other way. It is what it is. So you attract the same energy that you bring out. Because at the end of the day, it don't matter how many excuses you want to use, how much systemic any fucking thing you want to use. Nothing can happen to you unless you let it happen to you. At the end of the day. That's the quote that I'm going to leave you with. Nothing can happen to you unless you let it happen to you, or let it go on for all intents and purposes. Because at the end of the day, this goes for women in bad relationships. This goes for men in bad relationships. This goes for men in relationships with women who are cheating on them. This goes for men for any fucking thing or any situation. If they live at home in an abusive relationship or abusive thing, this goes for you too. Pretty much anything. Any problem in life that you face, if it's a fucking problem that bothers you and it hits you to the core, it wouldn't happen to you. It won't happen to you if you don't let it happen to you, it won't happen to you. As long as you let it happen to you, it will continuously happen to you. It's not going to go away. It's going to be always a presenting problem. It's always going to be an in-your-face fucking problem at the end of the day, whether you like it or not. You may not like it, but it is what it is. Like if you got a best friend that's fucking your girlfriend, or if you're a woman, you got a friend that's fucking your man, you don't keep that friend around. Because 9 times out of 10, that friend showed you what they're all about. If they're willing to fuck you over and try to fuck over your friendship, and they know damn well your ass ain't willing to walk out the door when it's all said and done, you're a bitch. It don't matter if you're a man or a woman, you're a bitch. And you're easy to walk over, and they know that you ain't about shit. They know you ain't shit for all intents and purposes. It is what it is. Man or woman, if you keep that person as a friend, they basically know, they call your bluff, and they know you're a fucking bitch, and now you just got cucked by your best fucking friend. Whether you like it or not. So never keep around negative people, or never keep around fuckers who will do you wrong in a heartbeat. Never keep around a motherfucker, or work together with a motherfucker whose intent goal is to fuck you over, whether you like it or not. Never ever do that. Never ever get yourself into that situation. Period. Because like I said, if it happens to you, you let it happen to yourself. It's kind of like one of those things. It's kind of like that one saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. The sad part about that is people don't know how to take that to heart. The sad part about that is they'll befriend this motherfucker. They'll do them over and over and over again and get pie on her face or egg on her face on a repeated basis. You can't do that. You cannot accept that type of behavior in your fucking life if you expect to do good in your life, because you're just bringing trifling behavior with you every single time you go up the ranks. Or if you don't even go up the ranks, 9 times out of 10, you're probably not climbing the ranks based on the fact that you got trifling behavior with you. I've seen a lot of niggas not get record deals due to the fact that they got a lot of trifling niggas with them. I've seen women not being able to get the man that they really wanted due to the fact that they got that trifling nigga around them. It is what it is. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. You basically get the people around you are a projection of yourself. Just like the people you elect into power, they're nothing more than a manifestation of your fucking self. Your friends that you pull around you are a manifestation of who you are. Like I said, when it comes to women, if they have that one cheating friend, 9 times out of 10, or 8 out of 10 times, she is going to cheat on you. There's a high probability that she is going to cheat on you if she has that cheating friend. The sad part about that is when it comes to men with those type of friends, when it comes to women with those type of friends, men are less likely to fall into that whole entire thing than women are. Women are more likely to follow the lead of that fucking friend over there and just sit there and bang any damn thing. Unlike with men are less likely to do that. Even if they got that one cheating friend that's a dog. They basically know he's a dog. They keep him around because he's there for good entertainment and great stories that he's never going to get to experience because he's in a relationship. and he's fulfilled and happy, quote unquote, in this relationship. So basically, men keep that guy around so he can have interesting stories to think about just because he's in this relationship. Women keep that person around just on an off chance that they can help them cheat, or they would be their fall person or their backup person to help them get out of the fucking situation that they're in. And the sad part about that, every single woman, almost every single woman has that cheating ass friend or has that friend that's a slut for this reason. You're not going to keep the slut around unless you don't engage in slutty behavior. A prostitute once told me, and I quote, damn, I forgot what she said. A prostitute once told me, well, during my clinicals, she once told me that people invite trouble into their lives. If you invite trouble into their lives, you'll run into this problem on a regular basis. You're always going to be inviting trouble, and trouble is always going to be around the corner for you. And she actually went on to actually say, women are their own worst enemies. They don't really think about shit at the time when they're actually doing the shit. All they know is it feels good at that moment in time. But then when it's all said and done, it's one of two things. Either they feel guilty or they fake feel guilty, or they don't feel guilty about it at all and they'll never tell you. Or they'll say they felt guilty, but they never tell you. So obviously they're fake guilty and they're never going to tell you in the first place. This is typically how men, this is basically how fuckboys are made. Because what ends up happening is, Tyrone goes from being Tyrone to a fuckboy if he gets fucked over by a woman. And the sad part about that is, no, Tyrone was a good guy. Chad was a good guy. Chad goes from being Chad or Tyrone to being fuckboy in a while. The sad part about that, Pookie and Ray Ray has always been Pookie and Ray Ray. They've never changed. They never deviated from their plan. They never deviated from their path. Like Corey still says, cheaters pretty much flock together. Once a cheater, always a cheater. If you got a cheater in your party, you probably are a cheater. Just like I always say with my friends. I have criminal friends. I have banker friends. I have lawyer friends. I have judge friends. I have model friends. I have criminal friends. I always say you're an average of all your friends at the end of the day. So look at the friends group around you, and you're an average of all those friends, no matter if you like it or not. Based on all your friends, tally it up, and you'll find out very quickly that you're no different than the rest of them. So you can't even criticize none of them for all intents and purposes, because at the end of the day, it's the nature of the beast. We'll flock to what we feel comfortable with. We always go to what we feel comfortable with. We pick up the type of friends we feel comfortable with. Don't get me wrong, you might have that one odd friend or that one odd person. You may not hang with that often, but they are your friend. And every now and again you might hang with them, but typically the people we hang with on a regular basis are nothing more than an average of ourselves. Whether you like it or not. This is typically why I'm always honest with myself and honest on YouTube, where I say, I'm a criminal. I will admit that. I am a criminal. I hang with criminals, therefore I am one. It is what it is. Am I a good person? I hang with good people. Sometimes I am one. It is what it is. I hang with criminals, therefore I am one. I hang with good people. Sometimes, therefore I am one sometimes. That's basically how I always talk about my life when it comes down to that. I will admit, yes, I am a criminal. I hang with criminals, so I am a criminal. I hang with good people, therefore sometimes I am a good person. Not all the time, but I'm a good person. Generally. I'm an honest criminal is what I usually refer to myself as. So if I'm going to do something, you'll know about it first. It's coming down the pipeline later. I'm never going to hide it. I'm never going to, do that secret shit. You're going to know before it actually happens. That way, when it happens, you can't say that. Well, Tico lied to me before he shot me. He did say he's going to shoot me, but he lied to me. Like, no, I didn't. I told you I was going to shoot you. You're dead now. Explain that to God. It's like, if I tell you what I'm going to do to you, I'm going to do it. It doesn't really matter. So, and this is one of those things that I've actually looked at myself personally, understood myself personally, and I am willing to accept that about myself. I am an honest criminal. I am sometimes a good person. Not all the time, but I am sometimes a good person. Sometimes I'm a good human being. Not all the time, but I am sometimes. And that's very true. I never met this person before, but true. This person's statement is actually true here. Don't know who this person is. First time ever seeing this person, but it's facts. Well, that's basically me being honest in my last stream. That's basically where I basically just air out a lot of shit, a lot of different topics at one time in one stream, basically. So this is my personal podcast to basically talk about a plethora of shit. Many different topics in one live stream under one roof, basically. It's basically the best way I can describe it to you. Not as cool as him though, or not as robust as him, would be, basically I talk about anything and everything under the sun that affects you, anybody and everybody under the sun for all intents and purposes. It may affect you indirectly or directly. At the end of the day, it'll affect you. Let it be policies or let it be other things or helping people understand what the fuck is going on for all intents and purposes, or various things in various cultures. That's what the Scythe is. It's basically me being honest and raw while being very logical and not upset by things. So I'm being very logical and not upset by various things, and basically explaining how shit works and how shit is. That's what that actually means, Cypher. That's what the Scythe is. Tico's Death Scythe. So it's basically me being, despite the fact that I'm honest all the time, it's me being honest to the gluteus maximus, unrelentingly honest and brutally honest for all intents and purposes. That's all it really means. And I talked about many different topics in his last stream / podcast, and that's pretty much all it really is. It's basically just cutting deep on a lot of the problems that we face as human beings. Basically, a scythe basically cuts deep. It cuts to the soul, basically. It's there as a means for soul reaping, basically, or taking your soul. So scythe. So it's meant to cut you. It's meant to cut you emotionally into your soul. Just because somebody's rich doesn't mean they are wicked. I thought you were showing off your actual scythe. I actually do own an actual scythe. That'll come up in another video in the future. I do own an actual scythe. And that's a true statement sometimes too. It depends. It depends on how they actually got that money. Because sometimes people are wicked if they got their money various ways. Scythe has a broad cut, it works. True story. I thought you were going to break out the scythe. I actually do. Like I said, I do own an actual scythe, and I will show that in a video. One of the many travel videos I'll be uploading on my channel with various pictures and shit like that. Yeah, basically. Tico's brutality. Basically. That's rad. But that's it for my podcast. I would like to thank everybody for coming. Cypher's Basement, thank you for coming. Corey Steele, Seeker, MVP Smith, thank you for coming. Billy the Goat, thank you for coming. Baron Yam, thank you for coming. Already said Sweet Padre, thank you for coming, Papa. A Manly Low, thank you for coming. No Sweetheart, thank you for coming. Elder Monk, thank you for coming, aka Sifu. Billy the Goat already said. Let's see if anybody else is in here that I possibly missed. And anybody else that's lurking in the background, because I know you're lurking. Thank everybody for coming. Improved Guy, thanks for showing up as well. So I would like to thank everybody for coming. Y'all have a blessed day. I'm gonna play one of my favorite outro. I'm gonna play y'all favorite outro for y'all. And I'm gonna get the hell up out of here. Let's see.
This video is for mature audiences. If you're watching this and you're underage, fuck you, fuck your face and fuck your day. This video is for mature audiences. If you're watching this and you're underage, fuck you, fuck your parent and fuck your day. This video is for mature audiences. If you're watching this and you're underage, you have shitty parents or parent and should be shit slapped. This video is for mature audiences. If you're watching this and you're underage, you have shitty parents or parent and they should be sterilized.
Hello, motherfucker.
What's your favorite kind of ice cream?